Should we be worried about a big stock sell-off with Tesla down 21% in one day overnight? Is the buy now, pay later space overcrowded with a new player joining Afterpay and Zip listing called Lay-By? And what's the best economic news we've heard this week? I think it's a vaccine here by January. So, do we buy CSL now? I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard, and we're
mad about money. One of these days I'll work out our intro properly, Paul. But more importantly, should we...
One of these days, yep.
Should we be worried about this Tesla sell-off?
Well, look, I don't think so, Peter. I mean, I think the US was due for a correction. We're starting to see it. Look, Tesla down 21% roughly last night. Down another 2.5% since then. Look, it's some interesting data around Tesla. This just shows you how crazy the US market is.
Okay.
Over the last 5 days, Tesla has lost 30.5%. That's a huge fall, right? But look at this data over the last month, including the down bit. It's still up 13.7%.
Okay.
Over 3 months, it's up 75.5%. Year to date, that's just in 2020, it's up 294.7%. And over the last year, despite the 30% sell-off, it's up 625.9%.
You're mad about money, mate, on that one.
Big fortunes, mate. Look, the reason Tesla got sold off is it's not going into the S&P 500. That news came out late Friday in the US. US had a long weekend. Tesla was down on the aftermarket yesterday. That's why I got slammed last night. I think we're just seeing in the US, it's gone up too quick, Peter. When things go up that quickly, we get a bit of a retracement.
All right. Is it symbolic that the whole tech sector is going to be smashed, or it will pull back and there'll be rotation into other stocks like Bank of America and all that stuff?
I think two things. We're going to get some rotation to other stocks, right? And we sort of missed that rotation to some of the cyclicals, some of the banks. But I don't think this is the end of the tech market, bull market. This is a needed correction in the tech rally, all right? It's gone up so quickly. The US hopes have been so certain there's going to be a vaccine around the corner. Everything was going to get back to normal. It's going to take time. I think we've been saying that. So there will be buying opportunities in tech.
That's right. But also, normal means that you don't be over-dependent on all these tech stocks that were fantastically important when you're all locked down. So that's a really important point. Let's go to the next one, Paul. The buy now, pay later space, Zip and Afterpay, they've gone very, very well. A new one's come on the market, Lay-By. I think there's like 9 different buy now, pay later businesses out there. Is it overcrowded? Will stock prices slump?
I think it is overcrowded. I think people have been missing the point about the buy now, pay later market. They've been most worried about regulation from government.
Yeah.
I've never considered that to be the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the more people in the space, the more likely the margin that people like Afterpay make is going to get squeezed. Now, Afterpay makes 85% of its revenue out of the margin that merchants pay. They charge an average about 4 to 4.5%. So you go and spend $100 at a shop. The shop only gets to keep $95.50. They $4.50 that goes to Afterpay. That's a lot of money going out of the profit for retailers. So where Afterpay has such a huge advantage is the penetration of the merchant market.
Their signs are on so many windows. And
the others have to get in there. But that margin was always going to come down. And I think that it's probably not so much the competition in Australia. It's people like PayPal and others in the US getting into that space that will cause the challenges. So I got bearish on the Afterpay and Zip. I wrote a story at about $70 and said Afterpay was a sell. I've been spectacularly wrong so far. Right? But I think it's starting to come back better. So
I think the interesting point is I interviewed the COO of Zip yesterday for our TV program next week, and he did make the point that PayPal coming in is going to be a threat, but it'll also normalise the idea of buy now, pay later. And I also asked him, is there a demographic shift? Are older people, not just cool and groovy young people, getting into it? Answer is yes. So the whole space will grow. You're right, they'll get less from retailers because there'll be competition, but it doesn't mean that the share price will slump. It might not just go to $100 as quickly.
Afterpay has done a really good job as a company, and so has Zip, right? And spectacular growth. You've got to give them a 10 out of 10 for that. As you say, the market is going to normalise. It's going to keep growing. So look, there's a bigger cake here, but where they're more vulnerable is around the margin. We'll get competitive pressure on that. So I don't think Afterpay's, I'm looking for a chance to buy Afterpay, just not at $75. For me, this was a stock that got down to $9 in March, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was crazy time.
So it's somewhere probably around about $30 to $40 is the mark where you buy Afterpay.
Yeah.
But it's got out of control like everything in the tech market.
Yeah.
It was the most expensive, apart from Tesla, it was probably the most expensive tech company in the world. It's got to come back.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more pressure on it.
Okay, next one, Paul. I was rapt to hear that Minister Hunt was saying by January we're going to see a vaccine. I hope it'll be a bit before, but at least he's saying it's going to be here by January. That's going to be good for the economy 2021. But does it mean we should be thinking of buying CSL? Because they had 2 bites of the cherry on this vaccine, don't they?
Look, I'm a huge CSL fan, as I think everyone knows, but I'm not buying for the vaccine. I just think CSL is a spectacularly well-run company that the markets currently sees a few challenges around the collection of blood plasma in the US and a few challenges around the currency. So, to me, I think both those things can be overcome. The currency is more difficult, but they're going to measure it still largely in terms of the collection of plasma in the US. CSL's done really well. I think it'll continue to do well. It's putting more in R&D. The vaccine stuff, just a bit of optionality around it. So I think CSL below $300 is a buy. Vaccines help, but it's not critical to CSL.
So vaccines, cream on the cake, and your argument is CSL is a good long-term buy. The market's a bit against it now, but the future still looks good for a very, very good company. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money.